That my hope is that by the end of this video, you will be able to identify whether you are currently existing in survival mode, but also I want to give you some ways that you can get up out of that thing. Today's topic, we are talking about survival mode. And I believe the topic, plainly put, is survival mode is killing us. And I believe that this particular topic is very important, especially to Black and Brown women who are currently going through a time in America in 2026. I don't know if you guys have heard, but over 300,000 Black women have lost their corporate high paying jobs in the last year. These are women who are well educated. These are women who are overly qualified. These are women who do their jobs and do them very well. However, we are being targeted. We are being targeted as a collective of Black women here in America. So I wanted to discuss the topic of survival mode. I want to talk about what it is. I want to talk about where it comes from. And then lastly, at the end, we're going to talk about what are some ways to help you get out of survival mode. All right. So if you are a Black woman and you believe that you are in survival mode right now, then you are in the perfect place. I am an etiquette coach. I also deal with femininity, dealing with Black and Brown women and girls, helping them to start their femininity journeys. And I am very passionate about helping Black and Brown women and girls to get out of survival mode, to identify the struggles that are keeping them from stepping into their feminine power. If this is your jam, if you feel like this is home for you, then make sure that you stay around. Before I get into the nitty gritty, because of course I have my notes, I want to talk about me personally. I grew up in North Philadelphia. Everybody knows who knows North Philadelphia know that it was a rough place in the 80s and 90s. I'm telling you, we grew around drug addicts, crackheads, strippers, prostitutes. We grew up around gangsters, and I'm talking about the real gangsters who actually will shoot you. The ones that actually like were real gangsters. I grew up around those, okay? And just growing up in a city that was very beautiful and very promising and very diverse, but it was also very traumatic and it was very depressing. School systems, all the way to just being in your neighborhood around the locals in the neighborhood, it was all trauma. I've learned so many good things and then also so many bad things, but I think most importantly, I was taught to grow up fast. I was taught to always keep my head on the swivel. I was taught to always just be observant, always look at your surroundings. I was taught to not be very trusting of people. I was just taught so many different things just by being in that environment. And to make a long story short, those things that I've learned were not always good things that a woman should learn. A lot of women who don't grow up in those type of environments, I think that they find it easier when it comes to relationships, when it comes to just life in general. Women who grew up with healthy households, women who grew up with maybe two-parent households, grew up with a lot of love around them, tend to grow up with a different set of ideologies. As a result of that, I gained a lot of mentalities that I had to learn to deconstruct. Around 22, 21 is when I decided, like, look, this is not how life is. And around that particular age is when I went on a journey to discover what is womanhood. So I will look to women figures on TV like what is it? The Huxtables, right? Felicia Rashad. I thought exemplified grace, elegance, class. And I would actually sit down for years. I'm telling you, like 4 or 5, 6, 7 years. I would sit down and rewatch episodes of The Cosby to just try to understand and really embrace the wisdom that was being exemplified on that show. So I would be watching TV, but I would be taking notes. And there were many other people like Michelle Obama, who else? Maya Angelou, and so many other famous black women who I would take wisdom and translate it into my life. Long story short, I went on my journey of becoming a woman, and once I discovered just so many different pieces of wisdom that our ancestors have left us to pick up, I was able to truly transform my life. I was able to start taking on the responsibility of really owning my life and owning the destiny that God gave me. When it comes to survival mode is it can be a really terrible thing because it really stops us from becoming who we are meant to be. Being in survival mode doesn't allow us to take the time to even go on the journeys that we're supposed to go on. Being in survival mode doesn't allow us to reach our highest potential because we're always thinking about what's next. We're always thinking about what if. We're always thinking about what's the next bill I have to pay? What's the next thing I have to do? But you can't really take time and just breathe. So that's why survival mode is such a bad thing, because for a lot of us black and brown women who are inner city raised, even those who are suburban raised, a lot of times just our family members, just being around some of our family members, and seeing how they move, seeing how the women in your family operate, a lot of times you'll get that inclination to say, I don't want to be like that. Survival mode happens when your mind and body stays in a constant state of stress. How many of you know that by staying in a constant state of stress, you are actually destroying your body, your mind, and your spirit? That's why stress and being in survival mode is so prevalent to me. It's so important for me to talk about, because it not only deals with your spirit, but it also deals with your physical body. Stress is killing us, ladies. It is killing us at an alarming rate. Have you heard of the black woman who owned her own restaurant? Okay. She went home. She said that she had to go home and get some rest. She went home, she laid down, and she never got back up again. She went home, she laid down, and she never woke back up again because she was exhausted beyond physically, beyond mentally, and beyond spiritually. She was exhausted beyond her capacity, that her spirit decided to leave her body in order to give her rest. When I heard this story, y'all, this really hurt me so bad. So we don't have to work ourselves to the bone, ladies. We don't. That particular mindset has to leave our thoughts and our subconscious. That's the importance of feminine energy. Feminine energy is an energy that attracts things to you. Feminine energy is the energy of manifestation. I am a witness in what feminine energy can do. Let me tell you something. Today I woke up and I said, okay, it's time to journal. I journaled, and mind you guys, I told you guys that a couple of days ago I had to leave my job. And I left my job. This is a good paying job. This was a so-called stable job, but this was a job that was sucking my soul. Do you hear me? This was a 12-hour overnight job that literally took everything from me. Everything, every ounce of energy, every ounce of everything from me. I had to tell myself the truth. I sat down one day and I said, listen, girl, like, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? So I left my job literally 3-4 days ago, and I told God, I said, listen, bills gotta pay. I I switched careers because I told you before that I am a coach and I do travel and I do all those things, but I had an epiphany one day that I wanted to do nursing, right? So I said I want to be a nurse. I got into the wave of the black women going to nursing school that it got me. I was on TikTok. I was like, oh, yes, I would like to be a nurse now. I did all the I can never say that word. I did all of the prerequisites in order to get into nursing school, did the CNA program, did all the things, and I got to the TEAS test, passed the TEAS test, and had another epiphany that I no longer wanted to be in nursing school. By working in the hospital and by being around an environment that is so toxic that I almost cried every single time I had to go into this hospital. So working there really took me and was taking me out of my feminine energy, so I had to let it go. But back to the story. Understanding that feminine energy is manifestation energy. This morning I wrote in my journal, I said, Lord, got some money saved, so I'm not really worried about bills and things like that. But I was like, you know what? I really want to be a change, and I want to make a difference in the lives of the women and the girls that you send to me. I want to not only deal with just femininity and clothes and all the glitz and glam and luxury and things like that, but I really want them to be transformed. I am a big believer in transformation. I'm a big believer in a witness to what manifestation, prayer, alignment, and high vibration can do to one's life. So as a result of me praying, I said, there are some things that are being held up, right? There was monies that were supposed to come in that was being held up, and it was weighing on me to do certain things, and it was just waiting. It was just being held up. And I was like, Lord, whatever money is being held up, I need you to release it. Like I need you to release, give them free, let the monies find me, right? And so I took time and I closed my eyes in the morning and I just sat there and imagined money falling down from the sky. I closed my eyes for about 5 minutes. I just watched money and I start speaking to the atmosphere. Money is around me. Money is everywhere. It's so abundant. Money is just coming to me. I do well with money. Money wants to be my friend. I was saying these things out loud. And long story short, one of the things that was being held up, one of the financial blessings that was being held up, did it not come? Did it not come today? It came. Okay? It was approved. It came. That is the power of manifestation, ladies. That is the power of femininity, and the ability to manifest and bring things to fruition that are in the spiritual realm. That is a powerful thing. And I help Black and brown women and girls to tap into that. When you are out of alignment, when you are stuck in survival mode, when you are stuck in a low vibration, ladies, you cannot manifest things. And that's the point, ladies. Survival mode is killing us. It is killing us physically. It is killing us spiritually. It is killing us emotionally. It's killing us psychologically and all the other leads. My hope is that by the end of this video, you will be able to identify whether you are currently existing in survival mode, but also I want to give you some ways that you can get up out of that thing. At the end of this live, I'm going to share with you a resource that I've created just for you ladies to help you to get out of survival mode. How does survival mode show up in Black and brown women's lives? Number one is you're always busy but never feel accomplished. Is that you? Is that you? Number two, you feel guilty when you rest. Is that you? And this is especially for the single moms who have multiple children. Do you feel guilty when you rest? Or do you feel like I have to be doing this, I have to be doing this and that in order to feel like I'm a good mother? Number three, You're constantly anxious or overwhelmed. Number 4, you struggle to say no. You struggle to say no. Number 5, you stay in relationships, jobs, or situations that drain you because you feel or they feel familiar to you. Number 6 is you feel disconnected from yourself and from your joy. You feel disconnected from yourself and from your joy. That's so bad. Do you know why it's so bad? It's so bad because a lot of times when we are in survival mode, we are literally not just one of these, but we're one or more of these. So you could be a combination of these. And that makes it even harder to get out of survival mode when you have multiple things going on, when you have multiple stressors, when you're overly stressed, you're overworked, you feel guilty when you rest, you struggle with saying no, you have you're overstimulated, you have a lot of anxiety. When all these things are playing out at the same time, it can feel breathtaking. It can feel like you're dying. I told you before, that Black women are dying, literally dying, laying down and dying from being in survival mode. When all they have to do is tap back into their femininity. That is the solution. That is the solution. These are two opposite energies. These are two different energies. And you can choose the one that you want to be in. And I don't want to oversimplify it because it may sound harsh, because again, I've been there. I was there. I was the single mom. I was the single mom taking my 1-year-old back and forth to daycare as I went to college, tried to get my education, while simultaneously making sure my child gets the education that he needs, making sure that he had 3 square meals and snacks every day, making sure that he was loved. I did that. I did that for years by myself. As a result, I saw myself in survival mode. Survival mode looks like you going day after day after day, and it seems like there is no hope in sight. Being in survival mode can lead to so many other things. It can lead to diabetes, okay? Because when you're in survival mode, you're eating unhealthy things because you don't really have the time or the energy to do things. So being in survival mode can cause you to have a heart attack. I worked in the cardiac floor, and I've seen so many people there who looks like they were there because of the situations of their life. You can literally have actual diseases by not dealing with the amount of stress that is in your life. And ladies, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do this. This is not your fight. One thing that will always stick with me, that my great grandmother told me, is that you have to know how to choose your battles. Every battle is not yours. Every battle, every situation, every problem is not yours. And I think what's happening a lot of times is that we are taking on other people's problems, and now they are causing us problems. We have to understand that this is a serious matter, and it's only going to get worse. And I honestly believe, as a etiquette coach and as a femininity enthusiast, I believe that femininity and feminine energy is going to be the thing that helps us a lot. Adding on to also manifestation, journaling, and prayer. A combination of those things are the thing that's going to help you get out of survival mode. That's what I believe. Let's get back onto a positive note, because I'm a positive person now, but I do like to take you on a journey with me to see what's the current situation of it, and then also what's the solution. So let's get more so into the solution to the problem. Here's how you can start getting out of survival mode. Number 1, you have to understand that survival mode are learned behaviors, right? These are operations that were taught to us or exemplified to us as we grew up in certain environments. So these are things that were modeled to us. These are things that maybe our grandmother, great grandmothers, aunts have taught us growing up, and we've internalized these things. You have to understand that it is no quick fix to get out of survival mode, but it's a strategic planning and a strategic move to get out of survival mode. So you have to have a strategy, and that's where I come in. A lot of people call me strategist, right? They say, oh, she's an etiquette strategist. She's a femininity strategist. And that's because with my clients, I like to come up with strategies. Give yourself permission to rest without guilt. Personally, this was something that I struggled with because I thought that me resting was me being lazy. So I had that thought and that mentality growing up that if I sat down, or if I sat down too long, that I was lazy. So I used to have to make myself look busy. And I noticed that particular mindset in job settings as well. And it's funny because before, when I used to do work and have a stable job and all that stuff, before I got this particular job in the hospital, I used to think that way too. But once I went on my femininity journey, I realized that that's not the case. So when my boss recently, when I had this particular, when I left the job that I left, when my boss used to say things just like that, don't look lazy, or don't sit down too long, or, if you are done your assignment, see if you can help your co-worker's assignment and things like that. It really rubbed me the wrong way. At these jobs, a lot of them still have that mentality that you are supposed to be moving from every second of the day that you're on shift. You're supposed to be active. You're supposed to be moving. And for me, I believe in preserving my energy. I believe in doing the opposite. So with my boss, we always used to clash because, they want me to constantly be moving. And for me, I'm just like, no. As long as I do my work, as long as my patients are okay, as long as my workstation, the nurse's station is clean and clear, as long as I've done everything I needed to do, why am I being forced to, pretend that I'm busy when I'm not? That was one thing. All right. So give yourself permission to rest without guilt. I am not above a good day nap. When I am tired, I've learned to take a nap and not feel guilty about that. You don't have to feel guilty about that. You are worthy of rest. You are also worthy of relaxation. You are also worthy to relax and recover. You don't have to keep moving. You don't have to keep doing. But what I want you to do as your coach is to learn how to start being. Stop doing and start being, start becoming. The next thing you want to do in order for you to get out of survival mode is for you to set healthy boundaries. The more boundaries that you have, the more you're able to shape your reality. If you don't have no boundaries and you're working in corporate America, you are going to be exhausted. This also applies to relationships as well. If you have that mentality and you have a man in your life, or you have a husband in your life, and he's so used to you always doing things, he's used to you doing everything. When you stop doing everything, he starts to panic because he's like, like, what am I supposed to do now? She used to tie my shoes for me. She used to iron my clothes for me. Now she's not doing that. And he might be tempted to call you lazy, but that doesn't mean that you're lazy. This is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28. It says, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. Well, that's what I thought when I spoke. A woman who doesn't have boundaries is like a city without walls. Anything can come in. Anything, every problem, every situation, every person's spirit, right? Every person's bad energy, everything is just coming in and it's causing you to be in survival mode. So in order for us to build up that wall, we have to build up our boundaries. Another way to get started is for you to journal your emotions instead of suppressing them. How many of you suppress your feelings and emotions? Now, this was me. This was me all the way. I was a woman who I would suppress a lot of my emotions. I was in a marriage, a very loveless, a very soul sucking, a very toxic. I was in a bad marriage, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. I was in a very bad marriage, and I was married for 12, 13 years. One thing that helped me to that helped me to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and not the divorce per se, but just to help me see me and discover myself, was journaling. So I am a very big advocate for journaling. I love journaling because journaling takes all the emotion and the things that you're keeping inside your soul, and it gets them out of you. Now you can be able to organize things and put things into order. Your thoughts, your ambitions, your goals, they're no longer all internal, but now they're on paper. So I'm a big advocate for journaling because I know the power of journaling, because I also believe in the power of manifestation. One person that I know this to be true for is Michael Jackson. I don't know if you guys saw the Michael Jackson movie that just came out. I did. I love Michael Jackson down, okay? That is my husband forever and a day. They showed his process of him becoming the Michael Jackson that we all know and love. And it all started with manifestation. He used to write things on his mirror. I will become the greatest of all times. I will be the best musician. People will love me all around the world. He started to write these things down on little pieces of paper and putting them all over his mirror and all over his wall, because what was he doing? He was manifesting. And y'all have to understand, manifestation is not some woo 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 thing, because a lot of times when you hear manifestation, a lot of us want to go into spirituality and you want to go into all these deep dark paths, but really manifestation is a biblical term. I mean, think about it. God manifested the world. That's how it came into existence, right? In Genesis, did he not say, let there be light, and there was light? Is that not manifestation for you? Is it not? Is it not? It is. So, ladies, you also, as God's daughter, have that same power. You have the power to manifest. You have the power to create things as though they are not what they were. You have that power. But the thing that stops you from being able to manifest is you being stressed. The thing that stops you from being able to create those things for yourself is being overworked, overburdened, overstressed. You can't manifest and stress at the same time. You got to choose one. You got to choose one. You can't have both. You cannot manifest and stress. One you have to do more of, and one you have to do less of. You have to choose which one you want to do. And I'm sorry if that sounds a little harsh, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm one of those type of coaches that are going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth because I believe the truth sets us free. Us hearing truth that is watered down is kind of, to me, like dog poop wrapped in wrapping paper with a bow on it. It's worthless. It's worthless. One-on-one, I'm very kind and I'm very empathetic, but I'm also very truthful because I want to see the results. I'm more invested in my clients than a lot of them are invested in themselves. And sometimes I have to believe for them in the beginning. But by the time they go through, whether it's my coaching program, whether it's one-on-one coaching, or whether it's the online course that I have, whatever it is, by the time they finish that, I need to see results. I'm calling my clients on the phone. I'm like, girl, you said we were going to start working out today. Did we work out? That's me. I'm very invested. I'm very invested. My clients are my friends. My clients are some of the people who I invite to the cookout. Okay, so I don't really play when it comes to this manifestation thing here, because I believe that this is the key that opens a lot of doors that have been shut for us for a very long time. So we talked about the ways that we're going to get out of this so-called survival mode. Now, here's number 4. Prioritizing your healing, not just your responsibilities. Ladies, this one right here is golden. This one right here is very, 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 very important. It's golden. Because although on any given Sunday, we can wake up with 25 things on our to-do list. But how many of those things to do on your list is involving your health and wellness and holistic well-being? That's the important thing, y'all. One thing that I do in the morning is that I make sure, I always say you got to give God his first, right? Give God his off the top. That includes prayer, manifesting, meditating, any of those things, right? Journaling, reading the scriptures, writing, all of those things. You give God his time first. But then after that, you got to give yourself your time too. You got to give yourself your time too. You deserve time for yourself. And I don't care what time you go to work. I don't care what time they're telling you to clock in. I don't care if they're telling you to clock in at 6 a.m. and you got to drive an hour away and got to get out the house at 4:30. When you wake up, whatever time you wake up, you give God his first, and then you give you yours. You fill your own cup. You fill your own cup. And then, okay, maybe you have other things and other responsibilities. Maybe you have children, you got to get ready for school, or you got to do those things. That's fine. But you give God his first, and then you give you yours. Because you are worthy of being poured into as well. So I want you to understand that on a soul level. You hear me? On a soul. I on your soul, as my kids would say. On your soul. All right? I need you to feel that. You are worthy. You are worthy, y'all. Like, y'all don't think that y'all worthy of having time for yourself in the morning? Whether that looks like you journaling, or whether it looks like you exercising, stretching your body, doing your yoga, doing whatever thing you need to do to fill your cup before you even go out there and have to deal with all types of stress, racism, sexism, violence against women, news about femicide, all of these things that Black women hear and go through. You're telling me that you don't think you're worthy of filling your own cup first? You have to. In this day and age, you have to. You have to, because there's so many attacks happening. There's so many things coming against us as Black women. We have to be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, all of the leads. We have to be ready. We have to be filled, because we deal with so much. And we're the least protected group and the least protected demographic on the planet Earth. I don't know why men don't like to hear that, but that is the absolute truth. We are the least protected demographic on this entire planet, Black women. So in order for us to deal with the ways of this world, in order for us to deal with the amount of things that we have to face on a daily basis, we have to fill our cups first. We do. Lastly, this is the last one that's going to really help you to get out of survival mode. Lastly is choosing peace over consistent productivity. You don't always have to be productive. And in fact, I believe productivity is a myth, right? It's a myth to get wage slaves to continue bringing in the millions of dollars for the corporation. That's just my mindset. I believe that productivity, that so-called productivity where you always have to be productive, it's a myth, and it's a way to get free labor out of people. They want you to continue moving. They want you to play like you're busy. If they see you sitting down for too long, they're ready to call you into the office and discuss letting you go. Having conversations behind your back about how to get you up out of that job. Remember, you have to choose your peace over always being productive. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do as a Black woman is to rest. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do as a Black woman is to sleep. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do as a Black woman is to go to bed, to lay down. If this was something that really touched your soul and you're like, I'm living currently in survival mode, if this is you and you're thinking, yo, like this is me, you describe me to a T, then I'm here to help you. If you are ready to stop surviving and you're ready, ladies, to start really living, really becoming the woman that you want to be, I created a get out of survival mode journal that is going to help you to begin your healing journey one page at a time. I told you guys the powerful manifestation power that is in journaling. I believe in journaling. I'm always going to be a journaling girly. I'm going to journal until the day that I die, and I'll send you the link to purchase said journal. Again, the journals are only $29.95. It's a really thick journal, and it's a coaching journal to help you coach your way through survival mode and out of it. Okay? I can't wait to help y'all step into a life of peace instead of life of survival. So if this is something that you are interested in, you want to start getting your way out of survival mode, the journals are going to be something that's going to really help you. So you guys, I'm really excited for the work that God has given me and what he's showing me that is needed most in the Black community as it relates to women and girls. And I'm so happy to be a servant and a willing shepherd in order to bring this to you guys. So many things that I would like to discuss with you. There's so many things that I want to talk to you about. So if this really helped you in any type of way, if you feel like you were inspired, motivated, or changed by this particular live, then make sure that you go ahead and follow me for more content.